light of that, I'd like to turn to my colleagues and give them a chance. Roy, your final thoughts.
You know, my final thought is you can't do it alone. Okay? You, as whatever your role is, whether you are a prosecutor, a law enforcement officer, or a community advocate, you cannot reduce crime, make the community safe alone. And so bring in as many people as you can into the system. They're the obvious people, the professors and the advocates, but also just try to bring in the general public and make it a conversation for everyone to have on how to improve the conditions in your community. And what you find is that establishes those long-lasting, trusting relationships that you need to make it better for everybody. And last thought is, please think about using the Department of Justice if you have any need for our COPS program, for our Community Relations Service, or the Civil Rights Division, or any other aspect of it. We are here and happy to help in any way that we can.
Thanks, Roy. John C., your thoughts?
My thought is it's an incredibly exciting time to be a prosecutor, be in public safety. I think that we've seen over the last 20 years that crime is not something out of our control and there's nothing we can do about it. We've actually seen dramatic, historic, unprecedented crime reduction. So I think that throughout criminal justice, people are very hopeful and believe that we can do anything. And so we have to be open to the idea that we need to get to the next frontier of reducing crime, and these community partnerships, evidence-based practices are just a vital part of it. But I'm extremely optimistic and hopeful that that's where we're going.
Thanks, John C. Brant, your final thoughts?
I agree very much with the other panelists on this. I do want to re-echo that community prosecution and evidence-based practices are really taking off, not just in the United States, but worldwide. I mean, I've talked to prosecutors that are doing this from Canada, Great Britain, South Africa. I mean, it is really, and they're looking at what we're doing here in the United States, and they're saying, you know what, they've got something good going on over there across the pond. Let's see what we can do to emulate that. And it is a tribute to all of the corrections and prosecutors, even those public defenders that are involved in certain things, and the courts, that has really made this a fantastic area over the last decade or so. And one thing I want to do very quickly point out is that, you know, there were 50% of you at the beginning of this said that they were unsure if your jurisdiction practiced community prosecution. They may not call it that, but look at what we've talked about here in this webinar about partnerships and involving the community. You may have a very active community prosecution program in your community, but just not realize it. They just might think that this is the way we do business. And I really am looking forward to that day when we don't call it community prosecution, we just call it prosecution, because this is the way it works and this is the way that it's effective.
Thanks, Brent. And in closing, I'd like to thank my three colleagues for their perspectives. I'm heartened by their descriptions of the kind of work they do. I want to thank the audience for your time and attention and your good questions. And the last plug I'm going to make, which really transcends community prosecution and evidence-based practice, but is a fundamental foundation for it, and that is data. And I don't say good data because our data will never be great. It's just always, as the technicians say, dirty data. But you need a system to collect data across agencies and to measure the performance of agencies and their impact on the community. The technology is out there. I'm plugging an effort, and it's a humble effort in Multnomah County, Oregon. We have a data warehouse. You don't need to integrate all of your data systems. You can collect data from the major databases on a 24-hour basis and then analyze it. It seems to me that this is an essential foundation to really going forward. It's, for an example, a CEO of a company that had the quality of data and the inability to link it that public safety systems have would essentially throw everybody out of the room. So good data and shared data is critical, in my opinion. With that, Kate, I'll turn it over to you.